Hi, I'm Terry Koleth. I'm here today with George Waters of Palm Acres, and I like to call him Super George because over the years I've known George, it has been revealed to me that he loves a challenge, especially if it has to do with anything electronic, technology. And so I asked him if he would do a class to kind of introduce us to everything going on in the computer, all the things that are available to us now. And he said yes. And we called it tweets, YouTube, and blogs, oh my, Snapchat, Facebook, podcast, Twitter, Pinterest, the cloud, Facebook, and more. George, thank you for joining me. Thank you for saying yes.
You're welcome.
Did you even know about all this stuff before you said yes?
I did not. I did not. And I think the next time you give me a challenge, I'm not necessarily going to catch that ball.
This is wonderful. I mean, everybody's wondering. We hear these words, and we think, should we be learning how to do this? Should we be taking advantage of it, or should we just put our heads under the covers and go, no, no, no?
Well, before we begin, I want to thank you personally for doing such a great job with Academy for Lifelong Learning.
Thank you, George.
And you do give us a challenge, and that's good for us because that makes us get out and learn and dig and that sort of thing. But one other thing about the title. In retrospect, we maybe should have taken Dr. Rubin's lead from the 1960s book, Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Social Media but were afraid to ask.
All right, that does make a lot of sense. What in the world would you consider to be the history of social media, which is very new, or is it?
Well, it goes back in its current form. It is new, but social media has been around for a long time. Didn't necessarily have to have computers to have social media. But in the very beginning of current social media started with something called the electronic bulletin boards. Electronic bulletin boards were based on computers, in computers, and people would post comments, observations, questions, etc. And other members of that group then would comment on them, that sort of thing. And you notice I said members because those were closed groups. They were professional groups, they were university groups, they were metro, confined to a metro area, that sort of thing. So it was completely different than what we know as social media.
But it's the gist of it in a way, isn't it? Because now we are topic driven.
We are.
We may go off that topic, and that's partly what divides our country.
Yes.
But it's so interesting that we're going to look at it because it is kind of the basis that all this comes from.
Right. And what caused social media to explode was the internet. The internet is a worldwide group of computers connected together. And we couldn't have social media with someone in India if we didn't have a way to connect to someone in India.
True.
So, and it's the same way with our neighbor. It's the same connection. So anyway, the internet is what really caused the social media to take off and explode. And of course, the largest social media or social networking site is Facebook.
Yeah.
And Facebook is the elephant in the room. And monthly subscribers are nearly 2 billion.
Jeez.
If it was a country, it would be the largest country in the world.
Amazing.
And it was only launched in 2004. So it's only 14 years old, and yet it has nearly 2 billion subscribers.
And the implications of that are enormous.
We have really seen recently the implications of that. Facebook has been under great scrutiny for their lack of foresight on the social part of in networking, how people respond, how negatively they would respond, how divisive they could be in that response. They did a great job in networking everybody, but they've lost the control issue part of it.
And it started out thinking, wow, you could share your pictures with your family and friends. You could know, it's like a Christmas letter gone on steroids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it started, well, that's one of the things. And then we are always wondering about the cloud. I mean, cloud used to mean this white fluffy thing that went by. What does it mean now?
Well, it depends upon what your perspective is. It could still mean that white fluffy thing, and sometimes the cloud is like that. And then again, the cloud may be like Hurricane Michael that just went through.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we've lost our data or we got hacked or whatever. Well, the cloud, the term itself, was first used by Eric Schmidt, who was then CEO of Google. In August 2006, he used the term the cloud. That's the first recorded time. And it's a nebulous way of describing computers and storage devices connected together in a manner that people don't actually know where they are or know what they do. Their computer is connected and they just store stuff and use stuff. But the cloud is essentially just a large group of interconnected data centers that process and store data.
Fascinating.
The third type of social media is like photo sharing. That would be Pinterest and Snapchat. And there are reasons why those are very popular. Pinterest, you put a post on Pinterest and it stays there. If you put something on Snapchat, it goes away. It doesn't stay there very long. So young people have found that to be intriguing. They could post something and it would be looked at and their mother wouldn't know about it because it's going to be taken down. The final one of the four major categories is video sharing, and the most popular, of course, is YouTube.
Yes.
And Vimeo, and there are reasons why those two exist. We'll discuss in the class. We'll talk about probably about 20 different social media platforms in the class, but those are the major ones.
Well, we're not going to say anything else until we get to the class. But I love how you're giving all of us information just right now.
And the major thing about the class, we hope to have fun.
I'm sure we will if you're there. I hope that you are one of the lucky people who was able to register for this class. And if by some chance you weren't, or it doesn't work for you the day and time we're having it, please keep watching the Academy section of the Weekly Reminder, and we'll introduce some of these tech talks and you can join us then. But for now, really looking forward to seeing you Tuesday, October 30th, with George Waters of Paul Maker.